Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of Sports Talk here at the Williamsport Sun-Gazette. I'm sports editor Jon Gerardi alongside Henry Huber, our sports reporter, and we're going to go into wrestling again this week. Going to mix it up a little bit though and talk about girls wrestling this week. Henry, last week you were at Hughesville's duel against Montgomery. Hughesville with a 36-22 win that night. Kind of a lot to kind of get into with that, so kind of let's just jump into it. A few bouts we want to talk to. At 108 pounds, Ariana Moore for Hughesville wrestled against Sadie Wagner. And I think the big thing about that is Moore trailed 3-0 late in the second period and came back to get a win. Just how impressed were you with her performance in that one?
I mean, with her being a freshman and showing that kind of grit and composure, I think that was really impressive, especially considering, Sadie Wagner is like she's a good wrestler. In her first tournament appearance, I believe it was at Hanover Area Classic. She placed third. So to do that against such a good opponent like that was impressive. She just she just chipped away at that lead, like one escape, and then the takeover right at the end, which very very clutch on her end.
Yeah. Do you think that's kind of one of those? Do you think she's kind of gaining momentum too? When when she got those first few escapes to get those points, all of a sudden it's now a 3-1 deficit, 3-2. Do you think that was kind of helping her build some momentum and confidence?
Absolutely, and not to mention the crowd was. With every point she gained, there was a roar from the packed Hughesville crowd, and so I think that may have helped as well.
I was going to say, talk about, they had two mats going for the boys and girls at the same time, and it was a packed gym there. How cool of an atmosphere was it to have that simultaneously going on?
It was almost, when I walked in initially for the middle school stuff, it was almost like intimidating how packed it was. I had to take a step back and just take it in before I went about my business. But with every point, it was a roar from the crowd from Hughesville in particular. But it was just all night, incredibly loud.
I think it was Montgomery's coach, Jody Furman, I believe her name is. I saw she had a quote in your one story about how it was kind of cool to see people there supporting girls wrestling, and she said there's some people there who don't even have a dog in the fight; they're just there to watch wrestling. That has to be good for the sport too. That they're able to have a ton of fans for these matches for the girls. Yeah, and
Jody is it's a guy.
Oh, okay, my bad.
But I do think that does show that the community is really excited about girls wrestling being a thing. The support, it wasn't just a packed crowd for the guys match. It was there were it was clear that a lot of the reactions were coming for the girls matches as well, which just impressive event. Planning from Hughesville's end. It was really efficient for having that many teams there.
Let's go here to the next one. Another match that we talked to you about before we walked in here was at 138 pounds. You had Montgomery's Briella Walk and Jade Hoffer wrestling. Talk about that one, because I know that it was I think it was 14-0 at one point, and then the gap kind of got closer there, and there was almost a pin late. Just kind of walk through that bout a little bit.
So that's one of those where you're impressed by both wrestlers' efforts at the end. It was Brielle Walk was Montgomery's wrestler, and she for being a freshman, it's very clear that she's the strength and the athleticism is there. That's it does seem like she's developing that technique pretty fast. It was very impressive how she was able to rack up those points in the first period, and then Jade Hofer being down 14-0 in the third, entering the third period to just get one opening and just take full advantage of it. She almost pulled off a pin there at the end. She could have gone from almost getting tech falled to winning the match. And she ends up still losing by major decision, but very impressive, especially considering it was her first actual match of the season. Like she won her first 3 by forfeit. So, you know, like I was impressed. The head coach Royce Iyer was very impressed as well.
I was gonna say, you know, we mentioned, you know, two kind of freshmen so far wrestling, both wrestling well and kind of being impressive on that first kind of go out there. Was it one of those things where the coaches both kind of were agreed that it's nice to see those freshmen kind of stepping up early and already making an impact?
Yes, yeah, no, I mean, especially on Montgomery's end, being that almost half of their roster is freshman based. Coach Furman's like he's very optimistic about the future. Like I mean, the future both near and distant regarding the team. And then Hughesville, they've got a. It's like a well-distributed class, like some seniors, juniors, and then a couple freshmen that have already shown success. Julia Ritter's 9-0. Ariana Moore, the girl that we talked about earlier, she's won 3 of her last 4. It's one of those things where I almost wondered did Hughesville get ahead of the curve, because they've got a very well-rounded roster to start off.
Yeah. It's nice to, we have, in our area here, Williamsport has a girls wrestling team, obviously Hughesville, Montgomery, Wellsboro has a team, Milton, Central Mountain. So it's nice to see that. And obviously some schools co-op, we got, wrestlers at South and stuff like that, in Muncie, Montgomery and all that. So it's nice to see, I think it's nice to see the sport kind of growing in the area with that many schools already, in just the first year of having it as a PIAA sport, already having this many have already a program. I think that's good for not just the area, but for the girls wrestling sport in general.
And those girls that have, already displayed success either through, individual work, like last season, they're now getting a lot more experience, which I think is, shedding some light on some of that talent. I guess, did you want to go ahead and discuss Montgomery's?
Yeah, I heard got to go into that.
Yeah, so most impressive with Montgomery, their star wrestler, her name is Emily Murphy. She placed second at state last year. Her and Zoe Furman were both competed at tournaments last year. Representing Montgomery. Her and Zoe both won. I'm trying to think what the let's see, I have the term.
For states.
I know they
took second and fourth at states last year, which is good for them to have that experience kind of.
Yeah.
Already before it became varsity, if you will.
Exactly. Emily's one step away from taking the state title. She's 10-0 to start this season. 9 wins by pin. So she's already arguably one of the best girl wrestlers in the state. In my from what I've taken away so far.
Yeah.
She went 15-1 last year. Won multiple tournaments. All the way up until her last bout at state when she lost. But I think the sky's the limit with her. And then Zoe Furman is undisclosed injury, but if they end up getting her back, they'll have a lot to look forward to come March. Yeah,
those would be 2 big pieces. If she gets healthy and gets back, that's nice to have both of those back for them. But you also mentioned in your story about them, you got Briella Walk and Milena Beatty. They both had wins on Thursday as well for Montgomery. And your story, your column was about Montgomery kind of having a foundation set already. What did Coach Sherman kind of, I guess, go into about that?
I guess it's definitely still a work in progress. As it stands this year, all they can really do is have an open door policy and hope that maybe some girls are end up walking in. But they said if they come in hoping to join, they can get started as soon as possible. But then I guess for the near future, he was very excited about their junior high class. They've got a couple girls working their way through the ranks there right now.
And that'll be good for any program, but that's always good coming up when you have that junior high program to know there's more numbers coming up. It's not just like, all right, we have a few this year, and then it's looking iffy.
Yeah.
Like, you have that flow, if you will, consistently coming in.
Yeah, it makes things really interesting for next season, just because, it'll be Emily Murphy's last year. She'll be a senior, but, they'll have her, Zoe Furman will be healthy as a junior, and then, the pieces around to pick up consistent wins and pick up team wins as a result.
Yeah, and obviously this past Saturday there was supposed to be the girls' madness at the MAC tournament at Montgomery. Snow obviously kind of wiped that out, and it got postponed till next Monday. But I think that's going to be an interesting tournament in terms of the amount of basically helping get girls wrestling growing and kind of been having one place for a tournament like that. I can't remember off the top of my head, but there's at least 12 different schools I know competing like that, from not just here, but Berwick, I believe, is one. Gotcha. Just from all over the state, which is nice to have that many coming in. It's not just a local tournament; you're bringing in as much as you can from all over the state. Yeah,
and it'll be Hughesville's first non-dual tournament. They've had two dual tournaments to start, and I believe picked up a good amount of dual wins. Yeah. But getting to see how far some of those individuals go will be both interesting and telling about what they're capable of.
I'm sure there'll be a good sized crowd for that one too on Monday when that comes around. So anyway, like we discussed, the Madness at the MAC, that is at Montgomery on January 15th. That's on Monday. Dual type format, begins at 10 a.m. Runs throughout the morning and early afternoon. Probably will wrap up around the evening. But like I said, there's 12, 15 schools I think from all over competing. So that should be a really good environment. So if you have want to get out to see some girls wrestling, that's an awesome place to kind of get to. So that'll do it for this week on Sports Talk.